I love to tell the story. 'Twill be my theme and glory to tell that old story of Jesus and his love. My story, take two, on Tofer's Take. So last week, I left you just about at my sophomore year in high school, kind of on a cliffhanger. And yes, that night, everything changed when I made my decision for Christ. But when I went home from church camp, the world around me did not change. I still went back in the same situation. I'd attended the same church. I went to the same youth group. I did the same things. But there's also a bit about me that I wanted to learn more, about the Bible. I wanted to study. I wanted to pray. I wanted to know more about this God who made me and wanted a relationship with me. And I wanted to know what that looked like in my life. I wanted to get, my religion from up here to my heart down here. But it was a stepping stone. It was a process for me. It was step by step by step. And some people have that conversion experience where they do a complete 180. They were a drug dealer or they were this or that. The gangbanger, and did a 180 from that. For me, it's more of a process. And during this time up until I graduated, like maybe only two people that come to my mind noticed the change, noticed, that I started having a passion for this stuff. One of them invited me to a retreat, and I'm like, no, I don't want to go on this retreat, I'm a man, I want to do this on my own, But we can't ever do it on our own, can we? And I then started going on mission trips, and, again, my friends saw the change, and they're like, Chris, you got to go on this retreat. I'm like, I don't want to go on this retreat. Well, eventually I gave in. And I got a lot of really helpful info, and I was a little bit angry at the end of it because all the stuff looked so good, looked so appetizing on paper. And I so wanted to live like that. I honestly did. But I didn't know how. And I didn't know anybody who lived like that. And it was upsetting to me for a while until I, started taking steps to try to live like that. And I was, still doing these week-long mission trips. And I remember once, one of the last ones I went on, I felt God telling me, Chris, Toph, what are you doing down here? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, are you doing this because you want to do this, or do you feel that I've called you to do this? I'm like, well, I thought this is what we did as Christians. I thought we were supposed to go on mission trips and help the less fortunate, And God's like, well, yeah, but why here? Why in Mexico? And I never really thought about that. I just thought it was something I was supposed to do, you know? So I ended up, going maybe on one more. And also during this time, I was getting involved with Crusade, Campus Crusade for Christ. Because I was out of high school and, into college, and something happened. I went to Florida with them for spring break. Part of their big break franchise program, and I don't know if they still do that. But I remembered all the stuff that I saw, that looked good on paper, but I didn't know anybody who lived like that. I saw that week, and people my age. And I'm like, holy crap, it is possible. It can be done. Oh my gosh, this is a game changer for me. Because I knew I had to start living like that. I had to do better. At living like them. At trying to be more Christ-like. Now I had the examples of how to do it. So for a while, Camp Crusade for Christ became my, home church. And I had parents who were cool with that because, they knew I was going somewhere. They knew I was growing. They knew I was being, fed spiritually. And I'm not saying that, we should just abandon going to church and find a group like Crusade and make it our church. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it was a season for me. And if you're in one of those seasons that you have a group like Crusade that acts as your church, by all means, keep going to it. But for me, I grew up, you know, I wasn't in college anymore. And I had to move on from going on with Campus Crusade. So what did I did the next best thing. I went to church with one of my college buddies. And I'll never forget the first day I walked in. It was the church I was just starting. The pastor looks at me, sees my top hat and my all black, and he's like, "Dude, where have you been?" I'm like, "Dude, I just got here." But one of the things the pastor wanted to do was open the door to, the outcasts, the goths, the, people with mohawks, the punks, the bikers. And I was one of the first ones to walk through that door. And I grew there. I started actually serving. Not because I felt like I had to, I was told to, but because I wanted to. Because I'm like, hey, I could get down with this. I see where they're going and I want to join in. Well, I want to be a part of that. And I felt God telling me to be there for a while. For maybe 4 years, I was a church there. And now it's this time, I knew what I had to do. I had that passion to read the Bible, to study, to grow, to pray more, and, it just felt like home. I just felt accepted. I felt welcome there, and that was something I did not feel in a lot of churches, mainly because of my attire, and, things changed, between that church and like I said, they were starting and they actually got some land that's about 45 minutes to an hour away from me, and it was difficult for me to make that trip, every week or 2 times a week. So I started church shopping a little, again, and ended up at my home church, the church that I grew up in. And I saw something, when I returned, and the parents of the people I went to youth group with, who were still going there, I saw that they actually got it. They actually knew what it meant to be a Christian. And I didn't see it, but maybe I didn't see it before because I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature enough spiritually, but I saw this community that got together for small groups and hung out. And I'm like, okay, thanks God for bringing me back, to the church where I grew up in, but why? Why am I seeing this now? Why did you bring me back here out of all the churches, I could have come home to, or, started attending? Why this church and why now? And I got my answer in about a month later. But I'll tell you about that next time. Peace.